Yes, people, what is going on? It is the French Goombag back again with another stream for you. And it's the first stream since Freddie's first game. Yeah, I did a quick stream immediately as a reaction to Naemery being sacked because I was so happy. Sorry, I just had a shower, my hair's everywhere. Yeah, I did a quick immediate reaction to Freddie being sacked. Obviously, I was in a good mood, man. Sorry, to Emery being sacked. And I was in a good mood. I was feeling happy. I had to get on and chat to the people, man. And yeah, it was nice to have some engagement there as well. I could tell that the fans overall were pretty pleased, and a few opposition fans were very upset. So it's all good. It's all good. Let's talk about Arsenal against Norwich. 2-2. Performance slightly better. Result pretty much the same as what we've had. Although you could again argue that we haven't actually come down from a goal behind away from home yet this season. When we went a goal down against Leicester or Sheffield or Liverpool, we lost all of those games. So, if you're really trying to wring the positives out, you could say that the result was slightly better than what you would have expected under Emery. You could have said under Emery, we might have lost that game. I'm going to be positive, man. I'm going to be positive today. That's just how I feel. I want to get behind the club. I want to get behind the new manager. I will assess the things that went wrong. Clearly, a lot of things did, but I want to take the positives first. And with that said, let's look at the lineup. What the fuck was that? Now, Mustafi, first Prem start, first Prem mistake, first Prem own goal. Incredible stats for the goat Staffy. For me, I think the whole thing. I noticed I'm getting Wengerisms. For me, overall, I believe that Scotland Mustafi was very good. No, I think it was self-explanatory. Rob Holding's knee still hurts. Socrates cannot really play football very well. He's decent at defending, but on the ball, it's not his thing. And Mavropanos, well, I don't know what he does. I don't know. I think he's coming back from injury. I want to give him that, but I think he was, from what I saw on an Instagram story a while ago, he's not been injured for a little while. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're new to the channel, like, comment and subscribe. You can tell I haven't done a video in a while. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Konstantinos, but by bearing in mind that we don't really have any other defenders, and obviously bearing slight ankle injury, so we had to play Chambers outright. It's not like we could have put Chambers alongside Luis. It's kind of made sense. It's kind of what we had to do. Same with Kolasinac on the left. I've already explained Callum Chambers' inclusion. And Kolasinac on the left, you're looking at it like Tierney's played 90 minutes twice. Now, being that Josh Kroenke has come out and said that Emery was actually sacked in all but his mind and possibly the players' minds before the Frankfurt game, maybe it would have made sense to give Freddie the Frankfurt game so that he wouldn't have used, a Tierney in that game so heavily. Maybe he wouldn't have used a Bayard in that game so heavily, and maybe then, these two players would have been ready for the more important game in the league. But, this is what has happened. This is a situation that we're in, and Freddie's had to try and deal with that. And so those changes in the lineup are to be expected. The ones where you kind of get thrown off a little bit is where you see that Torreira's not on the bench. Sorry, not on the pitch. He's on the bench. And Pepe starting on the bench as well. Slightly harder to explain those ones. But in the effort of going positive, I'm just going to assume that there's something that we don't yet know about. Maybe he didn't want to make too many changes too quickly. I don't know. I can't explain why Torreira's not sitting as a DM at the start of the game. But there you go. That's where we're at. First 20 minutes. Real good, man. Real good. What did you guys think of the first 20 minutes? What were your thoughts? Let me know what you thought of the game overall. First 20 minutes for me were Arsenal. It was like Wenger's last couple of seasons, Not great Arsenal, not like going to Real Madrid and winning, going to the San Siro 4-1. It wasn't that kind of Arsenal, but it was, authoritative. And then, a mistake and they're clean for own goal. But it was like one touch passing in their third, getting into the penalty box. I think we penetrated their penalty box with passes more in the first 30 minutes of that game than we had in the 90 minutes of the home game against Southampton. Which, I mean, in itself tells you that the trajectory seems to be improving. We weren't outshot by a bottom 3 team. We weren't outshot by, anyway. I think that you can take a lot of positives from those first 20 minutes, because I think, considering that Freddie Ljungberg had 48 hours to implement his ideas into the squad, those first 20 minutes were about as representative as you could get. And then of those 48 hours, of that change in management style, that change in approach. And then once a goal goes in, the players seem to revert to the last 18 months of drilling, or of training, or of attitude, which you can't, it's hard to blame them for. They've only had 48 hours under a new manager. They're not going to, learn a whole bunch of new tricks and forget all those bad habits after 1 or 2 training sessions. So you understand that, you make some space for that, and you look at the positives. So positives from the game. Xhaka did all right. That incredible off-the-post save by Leno was a horrendous Xhaka mistake. Let me just look at my notes from the game quickly. I believe I have mega fucking save from Leno, shite from Xhaka is the exact wording that I chose to go for, because I was really impressed. All caps, by the way. Only all caps commentary I did for the whole game. And yeah, apart from, and his final third entry, his pass was off. There was a time where he could have slid in Lacazette and he just fucked it right up. But Xhaka, you expect some rustiness and some nerves. He hasn't played in the Prem for, since that fateful game against, was it Wolves that he got booed off in? I can't even remember now. The start of last month, I think it was. And yeah, he hasn't really played since then in the Prem. So same with Mustafi, you allow some mistakes there. Overall, he was decent for what Xhaka can bring to the team. He was decent. Other positives, Guendouzi passing the ball forward, making decent little runs into the box. He was getting a dilly-dallying on the ball and getting caught a bit too much. But I think that's going to come with not having Xhaka and Guendouzi on the pitch together. They're just the same player for me. They're deep-line playmakers, not mobile enough to really, maybe Guendouzi's a bit more box-to-box, but ultimately he's not got the legs to be able to come back and make, game-saving tackles, that sort of thing. It's not really going to happen unless he's against a slow player. And it's the same with Xhaka. So I think we can't really have them starting. You have to put a Torreira there in place of a Xhaka. That's something like that. But, overall, I'd say decent. It's nice to see Guendouzi going forward more. Ozil, I'm going to stick to the positives. Let's move on. Aubameyang, 2 goals for Pierre. Front flips and smiles. Love that. Really nice to see. Missed his first goal, his first penalty. Encroachment obviously allowed us to take it again. Lacazette was proper having a go at Aubameyang, proper tearing into him for missing that first penalty. And that's good, because that's team spirit, man. You want players to be able to yell at each other and say, oh, you're fucking it up for the rest of us here. And for that player to take it on board and turn it around. That's like the definition of team spirit as given to us by the magnificent Lee Dixon on the, I think it was the Handbrake Off podcast that The Athletic are doing now. Quality podcast, by the way. Yeah, Lee Dixon was on there talking about team spirit and what that meant. And he said that team spirit is basically being able to, give your teammate a bollocking and they'll take it on board and improve from that, or at least try to improve from that. It's not about, doing selfie videos in the changing rooms or dancing together when you celebrate a goal. That's not team spirit. Team spirit is being able to tell your mate you're fucking it up for everyone else, and then your mate being like, yeah, you're right, and sorting it the fuck out. And that's what we saw during that kind of penalty retake. So that's encouraging to see, man. That's encouraging to see. Lacazette's temper and his heart is in the right place. His shooting wasn't, however. His shooting was not. Really made quite a couple of big misses, as I remember. And it's surprising he was on the pitch for as long as he was. Same with Willock. I think I've run out of positives. So let's get into the negatives. Sorry. Fucking hell. Biggest positive of the game, Bernd Leno, man. Incredible. What a performance from him. Kolasinac as well, I would say, had a decent game. Yeah, happy with Kolasinac. He was the best defender. out of that back four in terms of, providing, defending and going forward. To be fair, he wasn't targeted as much as Chambers, but that's because his positioning was better and he wasn't letting himself be caught out as much. So, big up Kolasinac for that. And Leno, that's probably the other positive of this game. Really happy to see Bernie boy Leno making some incredible saves for us, man. Not much he could have done for either goal. That Mustafi deflection was wicked. He nearly still got a hand to it. He's a top shot stopper. I would say in terms of shot stopping, he's not far off of being one of the best in the league, in my opinion. I think he's probably as good a shot stopper as Edison, maybe better. He's a fantastic stopper of shots. His problems come in terms of claiming the ball in the air. He does seem to have that cultural thing that German keepers, they like to punch rather than catch. And, you don't always feel safe when the ball's being crossing over the top. But even saying that, in this game, he was decent as far as I remember. And ironically, his distribution over the last few months has been questionable. We brought him in for distribution purposes, but I think it's a result of having Emery being overly focused on just short passes from the back, and those short passes going to people like Socrates. I feel like with this big problem with Emery is he wanted to make everyone equal, but we know that all players don't have the same skill sets. So it's like forcing Peter Cech to do short passes to Socrates because you want every player to have to learn the system. It's just going to fuck up those players, man. They're too old. It's not going to work for them. Like, yeah, Cech you were happy to see him do well from the passing out from the back, but we all knew it wasn't his game. And so when you have Bernd Leno in there and he's passing to a Socrates, that's not his strength. And I think just over time, I don't know what happened, but it seemed like by the end of it, Bernd was almost purposefully passing the ball to Socrates every time. And you're looking at it like, are you just trying to piss Emery off? Are you just trying to show him that this doesn't work? Because as soon as Freddie came in, we noticed that Bernd started going long a lot more. Yeah, and he had two ball-playing defenders in front of him, in Mustafi and Luiz. He could have given the ball every time, pretty much, but he didn't. Sometimes he chose to go long. You didn't really see him do that much in the Prem under Emery. So that was an interesting development as well. But overall, yeah, Bernd had a great game. All right, let's get into the negatives. David Luiz and Mustafi, that backing off habit when an attacker's coming towards them, it's horrendous. Chambers, just really naive, man, getting himself forward, trying to play passes that aren't on, and just not having the speed to recover. And time again, they're flying down that left side of the pitch, and their left side, our right side, and targeting that right back position. It was painful. It was honestly painful. I think both goals came from that position, actually. I think one of them was a Willock error, and I can't remember the other one, if it was Chambers or what have you, but it was certainly a counter. Obviously Pukki's first shot on goal, and then it was a goal, and then Cantwell, free man running through the midfield. I think you maybe look at Xhaka being caught a bit flat-footed, as I remember the play going past him and him just managing to catch up. I think Cantwell was probably meant to be his man in that scenario, but it's kind of hard to keep track. There's probably a series of errors. For me, that first goal is a mixture of Luiz, Mustafi and Joe Willock making the initial error. And then the forwards not doing enough and the midfield not doing enough to prevent the ball even getting down there, man. Where's the tactical fouls? Where's the bodies? Where's the bodies in midfield to just stop that being such an easy direct line? Well, there are none. There were none. Joe Willock was jogging back. Xhaka and Guendouzi don't have the pace. And to be fair, Luiz and Mustafi should have been able to deal with it, but they were too worried about the overlapping man who wasn't there to get close to flipping Pukki. And he ends up slapping one in off Mustafi's elbow. Not much you can do about that, really and truly. I guess I'll do some player ratings quickly. And later on today, I'm going to be doing a live stream of the Football Manager save that I'm doing with Arsenal at the moment. We are about 10 games from winning the Prem. 8 games, I think, actually, from winning the Prem. Liverpool a point behind us, but we've got a game in hand. And the next game is Liverpool at the Emirates. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. This is a big game for me. I haven't played Football Manager in a couple of days. Just been saving this up, man. So, yeah. that's on the horizon. Let's just quickly get these player ratings done, and then we'll just talk a little bit about the future managers possibly, and then yeah, I'll get out of here. Player ratings. So Barnt Leno gets an 8 from me. I think he was incredible in this game. Definitely saved the game for us. To be honest, Norwich could have quite easily won that game. We had a couple of efforts cleared off the line, some semi-decent keeping from Krul at some points, although he was a joke at other points. But Leno was incredible. By far our best player for me, with Aubameyang after, but not straight after. Leno gets an 8. Chambers, probably our worst player. Yeah, I suppose the worst player is probably between Chambers, Willock, and arguably Lacazette in terms of just really not contributing. Chambers, and the thing is, Chambers got quite a few corners at the start of the game. I remember him getting into all these dangerous positions, getting corners out of it, and we were better from these dead ball situations. That's another positive. The penalty came from a Mesut Ozil free kick, and the second goal came from a Mesut Ozil corner. So set pieces and Mesut Ozil balls in, working for us. Chambo, I'll give him a 3. The reason it's not a 1 or a 2 is because of what he was doing in the first 20 minutes in terms of getting us corners, and that was decent enough. But that just naivety, and then the second half was so bad, so bad. And just that naivety of not knowing when to go, when to stay. Yes, he's not a right back. Yes, he's a centre back, but nevertheless, just not good enough. 3. Did I say 3? Yeah, 3. Mustafi. Mustafi was bad, but I don't even think he was as... Mustafi. I'll go 4. I'll go 1 better. Yeah, okay. So this is going to be my match ratings. They'll probably be a bit controversial. Mustafi, I'm going to go 4. I think he was slightly better than Chambers. He should have scored at least 1 or 2 times. He had some great headers that I think one of them was cleared off of the line by another player. And yeah, he was decent in set pieces in terms of getting himself about. Defending, we just have that calamity element to him, but we know that's nothing new with Mustafi. Yeah, 4. I think that's fine. David Luiz, I'm actually going to give him a 3. And this sounds controversial even to me, but for me, that first goal, I'd say, was more his fault than anyone else's. He had that man. He continuously backed off of him. And Mustafi came over and also backed off of him. But, he was backing off to get the overlap, whereas David Luiz, we just don't know why he was backing off. He's just afraid to get in close. Maybe they were giving away those penalties earlier in the season. Kind of made him more fearful of sticking a leg in there. He knows that his reflexes aren't there. I don't know. But he was not in any way. And the thing is, he's meant to be the senior guy, He's meant to have the experience, and he's just... yeah, made our defence look even worse, man. So, 3 for Luiz. Kolasinac. I think a 6. I want to say a 6, possibly a 7. 6 pushing a 7. I think he was 7 for Kolasinac. I give him a 7 because he was actually quite good defensively. Yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised because we don't have Tierney on the pitch, or on the bench. No, he was on the bench. Sorry, it's Bellerin who wasn't on the bench. And so you look at it and you're thinking, oh, well, shit, that's weaker from left back. But actually, Kolasinac was really good. Got forward, made good runs, moved about well, got back, defended well, made some decent tackles that probably, impacted the outcome of the game, if we're completely honest. And it's just a shit house. No, I like that. Yeah, Kolasinac 7. Xhaka 5. We'll go straight down the line. I think he had a decent enough game considering time out and the circumstances of his time out as well. I don't even think he should be playing for Arsenal anymore, but I understand that he's started to get reintegrated in against Frankfurt, and Freddie wanted to give him the new leaf, so yeah, he went for it. And he stayed on for the full 90 as well, rather than Guendouzi. Rather than taking off Xhaka, he took off Guendouzi. 5 for Xhaka. Guendouzi... It's probably a 5, but I'm French Gooner Patriot, so I'll qualify that. It's probably a 5, but I'm gonna give him a 6. Reason being, he's a kid. He was moving forward. He's moving the ball forward. He was making decent runs into the box. Let's go over to my notes here quickly and have a quick look at what I got. Game notes. Dozy injury. Yeah, he was having a pretty good game, and then he got injured just before the Cantwell, that second Norwich goal. I think he was having a decent game. He made a lovely run into the box earlier on. I think positionally he's still a bit naive. Yeah, probably needs a word in his ear, man, and someone who knows about tactical positioning to just bring him back to basics. Because I think the problem is Emery probably overcomplicated everything. That's what you're hearing, and we just need to bring him back down to basics. But I'm gonna give him a 6. Starting from the left with the front, with the 3 behind the striker. Ozil, important in both of the goals, great from set pieces. You see why he doesn't start away from home under Emery. 6 or 7. You know what? I'll give him a 7 just because of how impactful he was in terms of actually getting the goals. Goals win you games at the end of the day, and he put those balls into dangerous areas that got a handball from McLean and or Zimmerman or whoever it was, and that eventually got us Aubameyang's goal as well. That was directly due to Mesut Ozil's ability from dead ball situations. Without that, we don't win the game. So you have to give him a 7. But really, in terms of what he did on the pitch, just outfield generally, not really very impressive, you have to say. Joe Willock, one of his worst games for us, but he's a kid, so caveat that, and always remember that. Don't go in too tough on the young lad and give him time. Willock, I think, gets 4. Really, really quite a poor performance from him. Don't know how he was on the pitch so long. At half time, my notes were change Torreira for Willock. Willock being poor, and then eventually he did make those changes. Yeah, okay, 1 second. My apologies, people. My apologies. Yeah, if you're still here, I probably left for about 2 minutes or something there. I just had one of the builders come in, and electrician to be precise, wanted some information about a couple of things. Is this even gonna start streaming again? Might have just fucking... Oh yeah, we're back. We're back, baby. We're back. Amateur hour in full effect. Guys, I haven't done a video in a little while. I was not prepared for this eventuality. Where the fuck was I? I was giving ratings, wasn't I? I was giving ratings to this useless mob. Thanks for everyone who's stuck with me there, watching along live. Please do drop a comment or a like. Comment on how trash that fucking a bit of presentation was from me. Look, let's finish these ratings and get the fuck out of here, man. It's falling apart. Aubameyang, 2 goals. Didn't do much else, but those 2 goals is what wins you the game. If you're going to give Ozil a 7 for being involved in the creating of both of them, let's remember Aubameyang's first penalty was fucking horrible. We know what Aubameyang likes to do. It's like the Jorginho Pogba kind of thing, where you take your sweet time and then you make a little movement before kicking the ball, and whichever way the keeper seems to shift his weight towards, you go the other way. And Krul really anticipated that. He's probably looked that up and knows exactly how Aubameyang does it. And he intentionally fooled Aubameyang by shifting his weight to the left and then jumping to the right. Now, he also came off of his line, and of course, one of the players was in the box. Well, 5 of their players were in the box, but one of them was in the box who actually cleared the ball. So it was fair for it to be retaken. I think Lacazette was actually having a go at Aubameyang for not getting the follow-up. And obviously the reason he didn't get the follow-up was because of encroachment. So tough to really judge him, but you have to give him at least an 8 if you're going to give Mesut Ozil a 7. You have to give Aubameyang at least an 8 for providing the 2 goals that gets us a point ultimately, and prevents Freddie from starting his managerial career with a loss to Norwich. That should be horrible. And the final rating of the first 11 goes to Lacazette. Terrible game. He had a horrendous game. His highlight of the game was probably giving Aubameyang a good fucking hiding. Lacazette gets a 4, 3, 4, 3. So, it's terrible, to be honest. Absolutely terrible. Let's have a quick look through my notes to see if I have anything written on just how terrible Lacazette was. No. Yeah, alright. For that reason, I'll give him a 4, because he clearly wasn't so bad that I wrote it down. But, yeah, man. Let's go Freddie. Rating Freddie. All things considered, 5. 6. 5 or 6. We're being optimistic, so I'm going with the 6. All things considered, Freddie gets the 6, and I'll tell you why. It's got to be a 5, hasn't it? We were lucky to get the draw in the end. So the lineup, the omission of Pepe and Torreira was a bit of a blunder from him, in my opinion. I get wanting to give people chances. I get wanting to please big names like Ozil and Aubameyang and Lacazette, and Pepe and Torreira are not big names at this point, and certainly not in this club. They've got they don't necessarily have the same sway in the dressing room. So maybe you give the big name players, their opportunity to show what they can do before you say, yeah, look, mate, I'm going to put Pepe in ahead of you, or I'm going to put Torreira in ahead of you, whatever it might be. I think Freddie fucked up there, if we're completely honest. And I think by the end of the game, we'd just thrown so much away. It started really well, dominating, but by the last 20 minutes, they were all over us. It was really it was almost like the Emery thing, right? Where we're just 10 men behind the ball, in our own half. Aubameyang in his own half, Lacazette in his own half, all fucking defending for their lives against a newly promoted team. Joke, absolute joke. And they really got back into the game. We couldn't get back out, sloppy passing. But then Freddie has had 48 hours in charge. So we'll go for the 6. I think the substitutions weren't great either, if we're completely honest. I think the Torreira for Willock could have happened much earlier. He kind of vengered it out by waiting until the 70th minute. Ozil coming off for Saka was a weird one. You think, why not bring on Pepe? Put Aubameyang out on the left, put Pepe on the right. Surely Pepe is more likely to get you a goal than Saka. Although Saka was decent in the game. He wasn't incredible, but right at the end he created a chance for Lucas, who could have put it away. And then taking off Guendouzi for... Well, maybe it was Guendouzi for Saka, and yeah, it was Ozil for Martinelli. Yeah. You think Pepe should have come on. You wonder if Martinelli should have come on instead of Saka, and you bring on Pepe and Martinelli. That just sounds like more of a goal threat. But then the reasoning there, I believe, was that Saka could work back more and help with the defence more. So, I kind of empathise. Excuse me. Freddie gets a 6. The fans, pretty loud, man, and I think the fans are generally behind. And they didn't give Xhaka a hard time. It's hard to rate the fans based off watching it on TV, though. But let's go online fans. Let's do that. Online fans. Online fans are hashtag Freddie out as soon as the line out came up. So we ain't shit for that. It'll be completely real. Online Arsenal fans ain't shit anyway. I'm an online Arsenal fan, and so is everyone watching this. So yeah, I'm prepared for people to dislike this video. Press a dislike if you disliked my comments. Online Arsenal fans get a solid like a 3 or a 4. Hashtag Freddie out before the game started. Oh, what a joke. That was funny. That was really funny, to be fair. 5. We get a 7 for humor. We get a 4 for support. So I'll go a solid 5. Yeah, I'll stop it there. I'll be doing a stream later today for the Football Manager thing. Make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be mad. We're going for the league, boys. Until then, it's the French Goombag, and I'm out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, FrenchGooner23, on Instagram, @FrenchGoombag.